Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lillian. Today we are baking a classic moist carrot cake that's packed with flavor and is incredibly easy to make. Well, I don't like cakes because of the work that goes into the preparation. Besides that, carrot cake is really yummy and is a family favorite of ours. First I begin by roasting the nuts. My nuts have been roasted, my carrots have been grated. After roasting the nuts, make sure that they cool so that you can crush them easily. I use this mortar and pestle to crush them, so I needed to coarsely crush them. If you don't have this, you can simply put your nuts, well cooled nuts, in a plastic bag, a ziploc bag. Wrap the ziploc bag around with a dish towel and then use your meat mallet or your rolling pin to crush them. After that, you set everything aside and start preparing your dry ingredients. For my dry ingredients, I added flour. I added all the spices. Flour was 520 grams, 2 teaspoons baking soda, 3 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, and 3 teaspoons cinnamon. I mixed everything together, and then I sifted using my sift. So you can actually sift even up to 3 times, as long as so that you don't see the mixed spices inside your flour. It must be uniformly mixed. Well, after that, I took my wet ingredients. So here I was actually making sure that I mix everything as I sift, as you can see. Before we begin, make sure that your oven is preheated to 180 degrees Celsius. Make your cake tin and make sure your cake tins are greased and lined. I normally just use my pan to put it over the baking sheet. I use my pencil to trace around the pan, and then I cut my nice rounds that the same size as my baking pan. It's very easy. While your oven is preheating, you can now prepare to start mixing everything. I like to clean as I go, so if there is any mess, I clean along the way. Here I was sifting for the second time. As you can see, there is still some portions where the mixed spice did go in without being mixed properly. I'm making sure that everything is combined here. Combine everything nicely, and soon you will be enjoying your carrot cake straight from your oven. Whisk everything nicely until the mixture looks uniform. This step is very crucial to make sure that you won't overmix once you start adding your wet and dry ingredients together. There we go. If there is anything at the bottom of the sieve, just throw it away. Mine did not have much. My spices were also very nice and fine. There we go. Now off to our wet ingredients. In a separate bowl, I added eggs and sugar, and then you will mix. So for this one, it required 10 eggs. I had to use 10 large eggs, and I also used 520 grams of sugar. I also used 300 mils of oil, 180 mils of amasi, 20 mils or 4 teaspoons of vanilla essence. That's what we will be using in this next step. So I cracked my eggs one by one. You may need to mix your egg, to crack your eggs in a separate small bar or cup, so that if there is any egg that is not perfect, you can simply toss it away. Imagine cracking a rotten egg into 9 other nice healthy eggs. So now here I'm mixing my eggs. You mix your eggs until they are frothy. Once the eggs are frothy, you may need to start to add your sugar. You do not need to add it into batches. You can just dump your sugar in there. You'll see very soon I mix my eggs. I was using a hand mixer because I was very lazy to pull out the whole mixing bowls and stuff. And also it benefits the new bakers who are out there who are probably watching this for the first time and wanting to try this for the family. You will just pull out the essential, the your normal mixer, hand mixer, and use the tools that you have at home. So with this hand mixer, you can still get a nice cake as well. Now I added my sugar, 520 grams, like I said. You mix and mix, plus or minus maybe 3 to 5 minutes, until it turns into a kind of custardy consistency. You will see under its ribbons. When you lift your mixer there, it must form nice smooth ribbons. You may need to scrape the sides as well to make sure that the sugar is dissolved through into your eggs. This is very, very important. Mix, and once your mixture looks lighter and is kind of thick, you will know that it is done. 9 minutes there, it's almost done. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. I'm just trying to reach the bottom and all the corners of the bowl so that everything is mixed through. I tend to turn my bowl around. Here I was just confirming that my oven is preheating. Sometimes it has a tendency where I have to press start for it to start meeting the elements in there. Well, my mixture is nice, and then it looks more like a custard. It's really nice and smooth. That is what you want your mixture to look like. That is what you want your mixture to look like. It is also kind of doubled in size and is looking really nice. We will now have to add our oil, and I must say, let's all move on to the next step. You see the ribbons I was talking about? This is perfect. I'm just trying to clean up my mixer so that it doesn't drip too much. Now I'm taking the spatula to scrape around the sides and make sure that everything is combined and there is no missed spot on the bottom, especially the center of the bowl. It's perfect. It's perfect. I don't see any lumps. That's perfect. The next step, we will be adding our oil, our wet ingredients rather. So my oil, you cannot see that my camera was putting a mirror image. The oil was 300 mils. You pour that in gradually, mixing, whisk as you go. Oil is what keeps your carrot cake beautifully moist. Do not skip on that. I have already reduced my oil in this one by the addition of amassing, which also makes my cake soft. The addition of amassing introduces extra moisture as well in my cake. That is in my opinion. There we go. Next, I'm going to be adding the milk and the vanilla. I mixed my vanilla essence inside my milk. I'm adding that. Just mix until everything is combined. Do not over mix. Just combine everything nicely. And there we go. We are done with the wet ingredients. The next step, I'm adding my flour mixture. The flour, remember in our flour we added our spices. I was sifting that flour and all our spices are combined in there. We said 520 grams of flour, 2 teaspoons baking soda, bicarbonate of soda or anything, I don't know what you call it in your country, 3 teaspoons baking powder, 2 teaspoons was baking soda, now 3 teaspoons are baking powder, 1 teaspoon is salt, and 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you have mixed spice and if you like, you can add that as well, just about maybe half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. It will be nice as well. Now I'm mixing everything nicely. When you combine flour into your wet ingredients, you make kind of a circle around the bowl and then you go in the middle and come back. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but yeah. And then make sure that everything is mixed in and there are no lumps. Just mix with a hand mixer for a few minutes. 1 minute is too much to mix. Just make sure that all the lumps are destroyed before you start adding your carrots and your nuts. I also added raisins. Remember, after I roasted my nuts, I also soaked my raisins and cleaned them off. Sometimes they tend to have sticks at the where they will be stuck to the tree. You know what I'm talking about. I tend to remove those first, so I soak them so that I can see those little stems that are stuck on the dry raisins. Next, I'm adding those are the raisins. They are already nice and dry. That was 150 grams, but I reduced. I think I added 100 grams in there. There goes the 150 grams of nuts. I forgot to leave a little bit of the nuts for garnishing on top of my cake afterwards, but that's fine. Now I'm adding my carrots, grated carrots. I peeled and washed my carrots before I grated them. So yeah, carrots tend to stain your hands when you are preparing them, or they stain also my mixer. My mixer has got plastic components, so they tend to be stained, and there was a cleaning instruction on my Bosch mixer which I normally use, and it said to clean the stains because they don't come off easily. So to clean them, they said you use cooking oil, and that's what I use, and it works perfectly. But it's just a lot of work to grate my nuts in the mixer, and to also grate my carrots in there tends to be a lot of work for me, especially this time of the year where we are approaching the holiday and I've already picked up my cake shop. Yeah, so I tend to prefer using the traditional methods. Now I've mixed in everything and it has just been combined beautifully. Make sure the nuts and everything is perfectly distributed in your batter. Over mixing your batter can actually turn your cake into a dense kind of cake, which you don't want. You want your cake to be soft and tender. Now I have prepared my pans already, like I mentioned. I'll put them on the scale just to make sure that I put almost the same amount of ingredients of cake batter into each. I was using 2 by 20 centimeter, that's 8-inch cake pans, and also I have a loaf pan because I want to make a nice loaf pan that I'll also freeze for my family for Christmas. Yeah, because baking this, we love this, but the preparation that goes into it really drains me. So when I bake, I just bake once and freeze. It stays fresh for us. It's for family use, so I tend to freeze even for 3 months. It will still be fresh. There is my cake, my loaf pan also filled. In those 2 pans I put about 950 grams each of cake batter. The other one need 950, the other one at 1 kilogram butter, but that's fine. We're going to bake them. The one with 950 is gonna come out first, obviously. There we go. I was adjusting my baking rack tray to be in the middle, so I've put my cake pans now, and the loaf pan as well is in there. We will now bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes, or until a skewer inserted in the center comes out clean. You will see that the cake is trying to pull away from the sides, and you will know that it's done, but it's very easy to see. So I'm setting my, now I'm checking already. After everything, I went away, now I'm back. Checked my cake, it's done. One is done, the 950 gram one is done. There it is. Look how beautiful it is. Look at the color. It's really nice. It smells so beautiful, and already I'm tempted to take a bite and nibble on the corner. My kids used to take nibbles on the corners of my cakes, and that used to annoy me, but I understand the smell is too tempting. There we go. There we go. So I'll leave it here for about 5 minutes before I turn it the other side. There it is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, guys. Well, I'm on the next one now, turning it upside down and removing my baking pan so that it can continue to cool. So I'm loosening the sides before I can try to take it out. There we go. I had forgotten to loosen the sides earlier. Now we will remove the baking pan. I enjoy baking, especially the stage of taking out. It's beautiful. I mean, the smell in the house will be beautiful. It smells so yum in here. There we go. Those are our 2 cakes. I will be icing those ones for our little hangout tomorrow. Beautiful. Now I've turned them upside down and let them cool. I'm going to put those in the freezer for a while so that I can quickly show you how to ice them. I will wrap them around with cling film and try to speed cool them in the freezer. There is my cake, my carrot cake, my carrot, what do you call it, loaf pan, I don't know. Yeah, my carrot loaf. Beautiful. This one I'm keeping it for Christmas. It's for my family. I'm going to wrap it in cling wrap, and I'll make the icing towards time. Now for the icing, I've already put the other cakes in the freezer. Now for the icing, I'm melting chocolate, white chocolate. I think I put about 150 grams of white chocolate, just to, you know, to give my fresh cream and my cream cheese some what do you call it, just to make sure that it is not as light. I add this chocolate ganache in it. My ganache is made with milk, so I put 1 part of milk to 5 parts of chocolate and melt it in the microwave. I've taken it in the microwave and now it's back. I'm taking shortcuts here because I want this video to benefit you in the sense that you won't need to come back to the channel to see how to make this cake. So now I'm making everything, I'm making sure that the heat that's already in my milk and chocolate is enough to melt the lumps. My chocolate was melting because of the heat. It's very hot here where I am. So if you leave your chocolate on the counter, you may find that it is now melted, and once it does that, if you now pull it, it will form big lumps. This is what I'm dealing with now, trying to destroy some of the bigger lumps. Now it's nice and melted. I'll set it aside. The ratio of my liquid and chocolate is perfect because I don't need to wait overnight for it to be in a whipping consistency. Now the chocolate cooled, I added my cream cheese in there. Before I added my cream cheese, I had whisked fresh cream and added a little bit of caster sugar in the cream, fresh cream. When the fresh cream was stiff peaks, I then folded it into the cream cheese and chocolate ganache. That's the cream that we have. I also grated a lemon and put lemon juice in there to give it a nice zing. Who doesn't like a zing in their carrot cake? I like it with a lemony, tangy kind of cream. Yeah, that's what I call a carrot cake, an authentic carrot cake. Now I'm cutting my layers. Cutting a fresh cake is very difficult, but I've put this in the freezer, remember, so it's nice and cool, but it's so fresh, meaning that it's crusty, you know. It's yeah, it's nice. Fresh cakes are always nice, but very hard to handle if they are not cooled enough. This one is chilled, which makes it perfect. I cut even layers. I make sure that my layers are even always. I want that professional kind of look when I cut into my cake. Look how beautiful the inside is. The raisins and the carrots and everything are nicely distributed within the cake, and it's so beautiful. Now cutting, I was leveling the cakes, now I'm cutting the layers. So the leveling, I was trying to make them bigger so that we can already have coffee. I like my coffee. After every baking gig, I go around and make a nice cup of cacao and enjoy with my baked goods. That's why I don't lose weight. Anyways, well, let's continue cutting the cake, and we are going to ice it. We are going to ice it together. I like putting a thin layer of cream on my cakes, simply because I don't like you know, to have a lot of cream in the middle. Maybe I just like a touch of cream. Maybe 1 centimeter will be the thickest that I would prefer. Look at my layers, beautiful even layers. This was about it was about 2.5 centimeters each layer, 2.5 centimeters, and then I added a 1 centimeter layer. The total cake height was about 12 plus or minus 12 centimeters. So now I'm looking for my spatula. Got it. Now for the addition of my cream. It's a nice tangy cream cheese frosting. It's really yummy. It's also very light and airy because of the fresh cream that we whipped and folded into the cream cheese and the chocolate ganache. I added chocolate ganache because I will be traveling with this cake all the way to my friend's house, and I don't want it to slip around along the way. So yeah, if otherwise I would have just made cream cheese and fresh cream. I prefer it that way. There we go. I put the second layer, and now for the another frosting layer. This cream is delicious. It's really yummy, and it also helps to keep my cake moist because of the moisture that the cake will draw from the cream. That's why I like to make my layers thin. I do not like putting sugar syrups on my cakes. I've always mentioned that. I prefer my cakes to draw moisture from my icing. That's a personal preference, but yeah, I respect everyone's method of making their cakes. Now you see my cake is already about 8 centimeters there. It's already big, and my layers are even, and the cream layer is also, I'm also trying to make it even throughout from the bottom to the top. Now for the last layer, there we go. Usually after doing this, I put my cake in the fridge just to chill the cream and to bond, to make everything bond nicely before I start adding cream on the sides. Because if you try to add cream and you are a new baker and you try to add cream right away, your cake might start moving. That's where all the moving and tilting happens. So for me, if you are a new baker, you may need to put this cake in the fridge. Once you see that everything is level, you may need to transfer it, or even leave it on the side if it's nice and cool in your room, or gently put it in the fridge, making sure that you do not slide the layers, because the tilting also happens while you are transporting it from the counter into the fridge. Yeah, so now I'm putting my, I did not even bother to get my what do you call it, my turntable, because remember I said I'm on leave officially on December vacation, so the bakery is closed. This is only for family and friends for now. I've already iced, and my cream is very nice and it's holding its shape because of the chocolate ganache. It's very hot where I am right now. I think we are running at about 38 degrees outside. I have a fan going now. I have no aircon at the moment, and my room is fairly warm. It's not too hot, but yeah, it's hot. Now for my scraper, just to scrape around the sides. Already looking beautiful. So if I had left some of the nuts, I would drizzle on top. I would just drop them on top. It would look really yummy, but really I'm not concerned about that. I just want to have a yummy moist carrot cake to enjoy with my friends right now. There we go. Putting the final layer on the top. It's nice as it is. I do not want to cover it, as we don't want to consume too much cream, so I'll leave it partially naked. And there it is. I've already put it in the box. I was busy enjoying my cake. Yeah, there we go. Before we went, this was before we visited our friends. And this is my plate now at my friend's house. Guys, this was really yummy.